Welcome to Entertainment is Dead. I am your host, Chuck Sweat. I am so happy to be here right now. I'm fucking
Uh,
ecstatic. I have excitement coming out of my ears and my asshole all at once. So,
He's just like
thank you for
he's
watching.
exploding excitement from all angles.
Tom is also so fucking excited. We are excited together
We are
about so many things.
we are the Triforce of excitement right
the
now.
This
Triforce of excitement.
My goodness, our assholes are just exploding with excitement right now. You should be happy to be here watching this show. So, anyways, here are my regulars tonight. Thomas Winkley. I don't know where he is. If he's up here, if he's
I'm to
over
the
here.
that way of you. I don't know.
Okay. Tell the people hi, Tom.
Hi people, I'm Tom. I've been junking out on video games, and I want this week to be over so the 3-day weekend can start and I can just not remember it. Let's do it.
I
Let's make
also
this
have
weekend.
Randall. Randall is back again. We
Hello,
love
people.
him.
I wish I had a 3-day weekend.
Tom or Randall works in the sad corporate America.
Retail.
Anyways,
America retail.
so yep. Anyways, moving on. So, we're going to talk about some great things today. We're going to talk about the Destiny expansion. We're going to talk about Witcher. We're going to talk about if I should buy a beta because I have to fucking buy
That is
it.
such a weird sentence.
I know.
Should I buy a beta? The
Should I
answer-
buy
story.
a beta?
The
And we're
answer
going to
is
talk
no.
about that. So, all right. First off, since we have so little to talk about on Destiny, meaning that I'm pretty much going to be the only one talking right now.
I played it for like 15 minutes.
Okay.
Ish.
Like I said, I'm the only one who's sunk any time into it. Man, like I think we've talked about this a little bit in the last couple weeks. The only reason I'm playing this is because my friends are. That's the only reason I'm playing Destiny right now. There's so many other things I'd rather be playing. I'd rather be finishing up XCOM, which I've sunk a shitload of time into, Enemy Within. From the looks of it, in comparison to where the Enemy Unknown ended, I think I'm probably about 90% done with the iPad version, which is, it's been so much fun. Again, I cannot recommend this game enough for mobile. It's the best mobile game I've ever played on iPad. I would definitely recommend picking it up. Although I didn't play The Walking Dead for very long, or any of those other ones.
Oh, those were great. Those are awesome.
Yeah, on the iPad, I hear they're amazing.
They were good on PC as well. So.
Yeah, they're great. They're just great games. So another great game, if you're looking for something on your iPad, definitely check that out. You have to have at least an iPad 3 or newer. I don't think you can do the original mini.
That means I'm out.
Yeah, it's great. So yeah, I've been playing that pretty hardcore. And obviously Destiny launched yesterday, so we played that. Oh, I played Metroid, the original Metroid, over the weekend at my girlfriend's. She has a Wii, so I've been downloading some classic games. Man, I still suck at Metroid, but I think I have more hope at passing Metroid than I do at passing Castlevania. So Castlevania is fucking hard, but at least in Metroid you can get your life back, which you can't get in Castlevania.
Yeah, there's some chickens. Some roast chickens hidden in the levels. You can break the walls.
Oh, that's right.
It's just very few and far between, is all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a roast chicken, Tom.
Randall, what have you been playing?
Witcher 3.
That's it?
Yep. Well,
Okay.
on my mobile, on my phone, I've been playing a game called King of Thieves, which is super fun. You're basically a thief who raids other players' dungeons, and you have your own gold mine that you have to protect with traps and stuff. Free to play. If you do want to buy things, you can, like most mobile games, but I've invested quite a bit of time when I'm bored at work doing that, so.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And then Game of Thrones, I think episode 4 comes out in like 4 days, so I'll probably play that as well.
I have this tendency with those those Telltale games, Telltale, to buy the whole series, and then I can't find the motivation to play them until the whole series is out. I don't know why that is. but I do that all the time.
It's not
Like
a
I
bad
started
idea though,
episode.
because like the hard thing for me is, I mean, I play through a lot of them episodically, but they're only like an hour and a half per episode. So part of me just wants to like waste a Sunday afternoon and just blow through like all 6 episodes in one sitting.
I
Well, and
did that. Go ahead.
I was going to say the beauty of doing that is because I do episode by episode, and then I'm like, I want to play this again because, and the other one's not out, so I start replaying it, but I
Oh,
start doing the opposite choices, and then I'm like, wait a minute, I'm confused. Which person? Which way do I want to make this person go? So yeah,
yeah, yeah. I beat. That's how I beat Walking Dead 1. I waited till it was all completely out. I knew it was really good. You guys had already been talking about it. Walking Dead season 2. I just got bored with it. I'm bored with everything Walking Dead. It's just the same formula. The game is the same formula as the show. Um, Trying to think where I got to in Walking Dead season 2. Oh, I got to the part with the one-armed guy gets pushed off the building
Hmm.
by the guy that runs the hardware store
By the guy
thing.
with 2 arms.
Yes,
Son
the
of a
guy with
bitch.
2 arms pushed the guy with 1 arm, the disabled guy off the building. It was sad. Anyways, so what was I gonna say? Oh, just that. Yeah. So, what do you think of that Game of Thrones series? By the way.
I really like it. I mean, it's similar setup of, I mean, Walking Dead, you have your choices you have to make, but what's different about this than Walking Dead is that it's not like somebody always dies at the end of each episode. Something else happens instead, and it's very much like the show. I mean, one character does influences another character without them realizing why, you know? And that's why I like it as much as I do, is because Telltale is very good about if they're making a Game of Thrones game or Walking Dead or Borderlands or Wolf Among Us, they're very true to the source material. And I think that's what makes them successful. Because in their older games like Jurassic Park, Back to the Future, there were elements of the original source material, but you didn't feel like you were actually in that world, you know? So,
So you guys didn't feel? Did you both of you play Back to the Future? Because I've
I
always
didn't.
contemplated that.
No, I didn't play. I bought it on sale, and so I should probably play it.
Tom and if in case you haven't had the backstory on Tom and I, we both have probably like 100+ games that well, collectively, I wonder how many we have that both of us have just been sitting on and stockpiling because we go on these like Steam sales and
And the problem is,
PlayStation.
I start getting through them. Like I start hacking my way through them. Like I was doing really, really well those last couple weeks on doing that, and then a game like The Witcher 3 comes out and totally fucking derails all of it.
Yeah,
well, and so
yeah,
like with Back to the Future, I mean, yeah, it is. You are Marty, you are back in time again, but it's one of those things where I guess what the difference is that it's just a game that's set in the same time period, and you're playing the main characters. Whereas in Walking Dead and Game of Thrones, you're not the main characters, you know, from the shows or the comics or
But I think
whatever.
doing the not main characters, gives you the ability to do it right. Because you don't have to
Right.
follow. There's no expectations because you don't know what these characters would have done. Where if you're playing Marty McFly, there's kind of a set like group of rules he has to abide by.
Exactly. And that's where when they announced that they're going to be doing a Marvel game, I hope they do the same thing where you're kind of a no-name hero from the Marvel universe, that you don't have this, okay, if I was Daredevil, this is what I would do, you know?
Yeah.
So,
or a brand new character that you
right,
could create.
right.
Um, you know, it's almost like the Game of Thrones game I've decided is doing exactly what it's supposed to do, and that's why I haven't played it because I have my favorites on that show, kind of like when anybody has their favorite sports teams, or I watch MMA and I have my favorite fighters and stuff like that. I do the same thing with Game of Thrones. Like there's certain characters, like I'm reading through the books right now, and I'm on Feast for Crows.
Uh-huh.
And they're not focusing on any of the fucking characters I like besides Brienne of Tarth. I like Brienne of Tarth a lot, but she's become like my go-to. Like I refer to, like, there's this bitch. Oh, sorry, I said bitch. There's this. And where I'm going with this is there's this very big woman that goes to my gym, like very muscly, could probably break me over her leg, and I just always refer to her as the Brienne of Tarth of West Jordan Vasa. So I don't want to meet her in the parking lot after she's watched our show. She'd kill me. Uh, she's a huge bitch. Um,
Well, and with
anyways,
the book series, it's different than the show, and I'm trying to remember which books it is that happens. It might be Feast for Crows, but two of the books take place simultaneously, but you don't. So when you're reading
oh,
about John and whoever, you don't hear about Arya or anybody else because they're in the next book, but it takes place at the same time. And
that
so,
makes sense. That's why I'm like in the show, they're in the same place in the show,
right.
pretty much like I think I'm probably like teetering, a little bit on that, but yeah, that makes more sense. I didn't know that. Somebody had said that, but I thought they were talking about the same book, not
No,
two
yeah,
separate
it's two
books.
separate books. So,
Praise Jesus.
So on an
So,
unrelated note, there's not anything to do with Game of Thrones.
oh, I was gonna say, so one more thing about Game of Thrones before Tom cuts me off, or before I cut off Tom again.
Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones. Game
So
of
what you're
Thrones.
telling me, Peter Dinklage, is that I don't have to hear about Cersei Lannister for an entire book.
almost, yeah. I mean, on the
Fuck
next book
yeah.
you read, it'll be focused on the characters you're loving right now, or yeah. So,
Yes. Okay, cool.
but
That's it.
also
Tom, what were you gonna
those
say?
books are very good about you don't care about those characters, and then by the end of reading that book, you will care about those characters, or you'll
Yeah,
hate them more. You know.
sure. Oh yeah, I hate Cersei. She's such a good character, but I fucking hate her. Tom, what were you gonna say?
Oh, that's all. I don't have much else.
No, you were gonna say
I
you
just
were
was trying
going
to derail us away from Game of Thrones
stop.
and Telltale Games.
So,
So,
Witcher 3.
yeah, let's talk about Witcher 3. I'm really excited. And, oh, before, while you guys are talking about it, I want to share a quote that I got the other day. Tom knows what I'm
Oh yeah,
talking about.
please read this,
Okay,
and maybe
let me
don't
see.
just don't use the names. Just like
Oh, I'm not going to use the names
just
just
call
because this
them
Freddie.
Fran
I
and
like.
Jane.
Okay, so we have this friend Freddie, and his wife Jane. I feel really bad for her because he's one of our awkward friends, and he says awful things to me. Like he came into my work when I worked at a corporate retailer, and in public was just like grabbing my dick, and he's just an awful guy.
Just kind
I
of the
mean,
way he is. It's how he do.
he's yeah, he's a lovable asshole is the best way to put him. So he says to me, where does it say? Oh, I have to back up a little bit.
You gotta back that ass up.
I should just go find the screenshot. I had to screenshot it and send it to
I have
Tom
the
because it
screenshot
was
here
so
if you want.
disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he said something. Oh, he said, uh, man, I wish I was home playing The Witcher 3. Fuck, I'm so hard for that game right now. Last night, in the middle of playing it, I was so hard. I turned to Jane and I said, I need sex now. And she's like, I thought you were playing video games and nothing else. And I was like, I'm so fucking hard for this game. So yeah, I got laid and then went right back to playing. No distractions. I want to play this game right now. It's like I've been wanting this game since Shadow of the Colossus. So big, like I have awful friends.
I don't even like. I remember reading that message at work yesterday. And I was like, I don't understand, but okay. But then,
He's
but then I installed The Witcher 3, and now I understand.
Now Tom
So,
understands, so he's
so
gonna get
let's.
off here and he's gonna go roll his wife over, be like, "Hey, I need some." Now I'm back to The Witcher. That's what's
Yeah,
gonna
it's not
happen.
gonna happen. I'm
Nope,
gonna go
it's not
attempt
because
that
she's
and
gonna.
get punched in the throat, then I'm gonna go back to playing The Witcher, and then sleeping in the living room.
Yep.
So let's start with the bad. Let's start with the negative, and then go into the masturbating over the game. So the bad for me, goodoldgames.com. You were not ready to launch a Steam style distribution platform, at least in my opinion. So this month they launched the beta for Good Old Games Galaxy, and it's like a Steam client, right? So you can preload games, which is awesome. You could also preload them through goodoldgames.com. So I get my code. I'm like, sweet, let's do this. Load the code, download it, get it rolling, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go play it. It's 6 p.m. on Monday night, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to play this game. It's going to be so awesome. Not available. That's weird. All right, well, maybe I have to wait till the rest of the people. That's cool. So next morning, I wake up at 8 a.m., not available.
Did you mention this was a press code?
Yes.
So we're supposed to have this before everybody else.
Right, well, and I'm not going to bitch about it. Like, shout outs to the PR firm. They hooked us up, gave us review copies, so I'm not going to complain about that. That's not what I'm getting at. I'm just telling the full story of my epic line into playing this game. So, get home from work Tuesday night. I'm like, all right, great. It's Tuesday, the game's out. So it's stuck in this loop where the game is just constantly, it's updating the game, it's patching it to allow it to play, right? Like it's giving it a little patch that says, okay, it's okay to play this now. And while installing the patch, it forces my computer to reboot. And basically every time I open Good Old Games Galaxy, it just forces my computer to reboot automatically. So in order to get The Witcher to work, I had to uninstall Good Old Games Galaxy, completely uninstall The Witcher 3, and then download it just directly from their site through Good Old Games, which they have it. You download like it's like 5 or 6 4 GB bin files, and then you run the installer. So I had to download 6 different giant 4 GB files, plus the patch, plus the update, plus the installer file. So that took like 30-40 minutes. Then install it. So I didn't actually even get to load the game and like try it for a minute until like 10:30 last night. Randall, what happened with yours?
So I went on before work on Tuesday, picked up my copy, went to work, worked my shift, came home, super excited to play. My wife and kids are out of town. I'm like, sweet, I can just play all night. I'm off on Wednesday. I put the game in, I put my headphones on because that's just how I'm used to playing. And I mean, it takes a while to install, but no problem there. Start playing in and everything's good, or at least so I think. This morning when I went to play, I was like, oh, I don't need to actually wear my headphones. I can just turn the volume on my TV up. I put the disc into my Xbox, and it starts making this horrible buzzing sound, kind of like when the hard drive's going, or the disc drive's going out on the Xbox, right? And so I freak out. I'm like, oh crap, my Xbox is going out. And so just to test it, I put in my other games, and it doesn't make any noise. It just works the way it should. So I put Witcher back in, same thing with the buzzing noise. I'm like, crap. I contact Microsoft, ask them what's going on. We do some troubleshooting. They determine it's my disc. I go get down to GameStop where I got the game. They exchange it for another one, no fee or anything like that. They said, this is the only other copy we can give you. I said, okay, I understand. I took it home, same thing, got the buzzing noise. I contact Xbox again, and they're like, yeah, there's a problem with some of the discs that they launched. And I said, are you sure? Because I'm not finding anything online. And they said, yes. So I contacted GameStop again, and they were awesome, and they basically let me return the game, get enough points through Xbox Live to just download the digital copy, and that's what I've been playing ever since this afternoon. I did email CD Projekt Red, the creators of Witcher, just to let them know, and I did get an email back saying, thanks for your info. We forward this on to the developers. So, okay,
well,
I guess.
The good
So
news
we'll
is,
see.
You get to play The Witcher.
Correct. We'll see if anything happens from CD Projekt Red, and I even just said I want feedback. I explained I have a digital copy now. I just want to know if there was an issue or not. But the launch issues aside, I think Tom and I have bad luck with launches on new games. That's what I just personally think.
Yeah,
The game itself is amazing.
Oh my god, it's so good. It is so good. And it looks incredible. It plays incredible. Really love the way they handle it on PC. And I know this is something other games have done, but the fact that if I move my mouse, it instantly switches to mouse and keyboard controls. If I pick up my Xbox One controller and wiggle the joystick, it switches right to controller controls, so I can jump back and forth between them freely. Really rad. The horse, I love riding the horse. We'll try to do a first impressions without going too far into it, because I don't know how far into the game I am, but I'm in the 3rd village after playing for a while, and I'm doing some pretty cool quests. Randall, how far are you?
I'm only at the very beginning of the 2nd village, but I have cleared out everything from the 1st village. I've done all the side quests. I've killed all the monsters that are actually quest related, and I've leveled my guy up pretty high. But it sounds like because my guy's level 4, and you said you are too.
I'm level 3.
Okay.
I checked before we logged in. So
I'm just a little bit ahead of you on the level, but story-wise, you're farther than I am.
That's true, but I don't do a lot of the side quests. I do want to, however, start hunting for stuff. I came across a tip in the game, and I can't remember what part it was, but it basically said like while you're out exploring, you might come across monsters that are just way too powerful for you.
Yeah.
That made me super excited. Like the thought that I could just go randomly roam the world and just kill shit is so cool.
I think they're making it much like what are those games? Prepare to Die edition. Oh, Dark Souls.
Kind of, and they're also making it like, I feel like a lot of Red Dead influence on this too, where you jump on your horse and you're riding, and you'll see just somebody off the road that needs help, and you can choose just to ride on or pull off.
Right.
Which I really dig. Like I've already done one where there was a guy next to the lake and he was tied up next to the river, and there were drowners like circling him. So I jumped off and killed the drowners, and then he talked to him and did his thing. I'm hoping I got really excited because in one of the villages you'll ride past a tree, and on the tree there's all these people hanging from the tree, and it looks a lot like the trailer, the Killing Monsters trailer.
Right.
And I was like, oh shit! If I get to do that trailer, I will be so stoked. Because that was my favorite Witcher trailer, even more than The Night to Remember. So I was really hoping to see that. But I mean, so far I've probably 3 hours into the game, but it's really, really, really solid so far.
So I'm more hours into the game than that because I've done all the side quests from that first village, and there's two I want to mention. One is I came across an abandoned village that was infested with ghouls. I kill all the ghouls, and then there's this little cinematic of villagers coming back and like rebuilding that little town.
Yeah.
And as soon as they did that, there's a merchant that's available that has a ton of new stuff than the other merchant that's like at the other village in that same part of the world. And so it's nice that you can actually open up a new village, and it's not just like more of the same stuff. Like there's a reason to do it because you had different equipment, all that stuff. The second is there was a Witcher contract I got to unhaunt this guy's well because it was haunted by this ghost. And I won't go into too much detail about it because it's more fun to discover it yourself, but you had to do all these certain steps in order to actually find this ghost and kill her. It wasn't just, oh, there she is, let me go attack her. There was like all these specific things you had to do in order to make her vulnerable.
Spoiler alert, it's a her ghost.
Female ghost.
It's a female ghost.
Well, and I think that's worth noting too, like with the Griffin, which everybody knows the Griffin is in it. When you're hunting the Griffin, you don't just go like attack the Griffin's nest. You actually... Right. You set up a plan, you get special stuff, you lay a trap, and then you fight the Griffin. And the Griffin fight is actually 2 stages, which I thought was kind of cool. At least I don't know if yours was different, Randall, but mine was a 2-stage fight.
So I fought the Griffin, and then he flew away, and I had to chase him, and then I fought him again. And that was similar to this haunted well. It was a 2-part thing, and I don't know. It's kind of neat because in your inventory, or not your inventory, but on your pause menu, there's this. It's like the glossary, I think is what it's called, and there's this whole journal about the different monsters you fight. And if you actually look at it, I mean, it gives you a ton of description, but you don't have to read it. At the bottom, it says what they're weak against. And if I hadn't looked at that, there was no way I would kill
your
this
Grimoire
lady.
card.
Yeah.
It's your Grimoire card. Okay.
Because this ghost, like, it says what she's vulnerable against, and I sat there and I for a good like 15 minutes trying to kill her, and I couldn't kill her, and I was finally like, oh, I need to look at this thing, and I looked, and you have to do the magic trap spell, which makes her take on solid form, and if you don't do that, you can't kill her, and so little things like that. Just there's a lot of depth to this game.
And there's another thing that happens later on, Randall, actually probably close to after where you are, because you're gonna, well, I don't know, if you do all the side quests first, it might take you a while, but it's only like in the story part of the quest, it's like I think you've got 2 or 3 quests before you do it, because you've already been to Vizima, so it's literally 2 quests after you leave Vizima, and you don't hang out in Vizima very long. But you fight a mythical beast, and the game actually is it's kind of like a tutorial where the game makes you take a certain process to fight the beast.
Okay.
But the amount of damage you do to it because of that is insane, and it's super cool.
Well, and the other thing I would suggest, I mean, however you guys want to play it, you can do it. But like Tom's just going straight through the story. When I explored, I found things that increase the power of my spells and. Mm-hmm. Like you get little buffs of like, okay, my fire spell is now, it's like mutagens to enhance your Witcher, and I don't know. Like I've never played the other Witcher games, so I can't speak to their gameplay, but I am in love with this game. And there's what I also love is it's kind of just a okay, you've played a video game before, just go. There's not this bunch like hand holding. It's not okay, you need to do this, and then you need to do that, and then you
Yep.
need to do this. It's just
Well, and
have fun.
the at least what seems to be the villain is insanely creepy.
Right.
Um, and this isn't really a spoiler. The Wild Hunt, and I don't know if they might have revealed this in Witcher 2. I've only played The Witcher 1. I didn't ever get to The Witcher 2. The Wild Hunt is like this evil, like Sauron type monster. He's got the big skull mask, the huge dark black armor, and he has his army of wraiths that follows him. And wherever they go, they like freeze. They're like this ice wraiths. It is so cool. Um, all both times you see him, it's rad. It's chilling. So I'm really
Uh,
excited to see where that leads as well.
Yeah, and the gameplay is really smooth. You're fighting opponents, and you can kind of choose how you want to take them on. You can mainly use your sword, you can use magic, you can use bombs. I don't know. It's just, I think it's interesting that you and I are, we've invested probably almost about the same amount of time, but you and I are having very different playing experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And you can either be really nice to the people who are, like, oh, this money was for my daughter so that when she gets married, she has a dowry. And you're like, okay, keep your money. Or you can be like, that's great, give me the money. I don't care about your daughter. I just did a job for you.
I'm only turning down money and being nice to people when it snubs them by doing so. Like I'm kind of being an asshole. Like when someone's a dick, I'm a dick right back. Like yeah. So far, I think we're both loving The Witcher. Really, really feel like it's living up to all the hype. And I think even people that maybe might not be as big into RPGs, I think they would really dig it because of the different aspects to the game. The Lord of the Rings style story, the massive amounts of side quests, and honestly, I think some people will just want to ride the horse around and explore shit.
Well, and that's why
Plus, you can fuck everything.
You can't, and I haven't. That's actually the weird thing about The Witcher 3. I haven't had sex with anybody yet, and I wonder if I'm doing it wrong.
I haven't had sex with anybody yet
It's
either.
so weird. By this point in The Witcher
You guys
1,
are
I had
Witcher
fucked like 12
virgins?
people.
You guys are Witcher 3 virgins.
So,
Yeah, like
yeah.
this, like in The Witcher 1, dude, you could have sex with anything.
You're like, hey, bear, come here.
Come here, bear.
Come here, bear. Hey,
Come here.
you.
Let's go.
What movie is that? Is that Super Troopers? Hey, bear fucker.
Oh,
So yeah,
man.
you should if you're not playing The Witcher 3, judging by at least my friends list, everybody's playing that goddamn game and with good reason. So
Well, I want Lance or Chuck to play it, and I want him to give his, because you're not a big RPG guy. Like, this isn't your style of game. There's not a lot of multiplayer in it. Like it's a single player thing. And so I just want to see your opinion because I do think this is a game you will enjoy.
I think you'd like it.
Oh.
Just based on how much you liked Red Dead, you'll love this game.
Yeah, see, I guess so, and we always go back to this every single time that a good single player game comes out is I have to re-explain myself. And it's not so much that I don't like single player games. I get really tired of repetitive games. I get really tired of games that don't really excel. I get games that are, I get really tired of games that don't really, branch away. I mean, my favorite game last year was a single player game, Guacamelee. I found myself playing a lot more platformers, like I wouldn't call them indie platformers, but smaller studio platformers when I'm playing single player games because they're they're probably, in my opinion, the most innovative thing out there right now.
And that's fair.
Until we get something like No Man's Sky, I don't think there is much worth. Single player doesn't have a lot to contribute. Yes, I am interested in playing this game. Yes, I like the series. I haven't. I have not played as much as everybody else. I can't believe. I'm shocked that Tom almost beat the first one, because him and I have talked about this game. We talked about Witcher 1 several times, and both of us were like, "Yeah, I really like this game." And the but was always that we couldn't seem to dig enough time into it.
Yeah. Well, somebody at work described The Witcher 1 to me very well. They're basically like, you're playing FedEx. And that's the fucking truth. Like, you pick up the package, and then you just take the
Take the
package
package.
from point to point to point to
Hmm.
point to point for like 25 hours. But
Well, see, like in Witcher 3, your whole point is you're trying to
You're the
find
FedEx man that has sex with everyone.
your.
I got a package
Oh
for you.
no, how am I gonna
I've got a
sign for
package for you,
this?
and I've got a package for you.
What do you
It's
mean
my
cash
dick
on
in a
delivery?
box.
What do you mean cash on delivery? I can't afford this. Bow, bow.
Your mouth can.
Can't we work out some sort of negotiation?
I
Um,
think that though the world and the creatures and the story is interesting enough in The Witcher 1 that even though you are just doing a bunch of fucking fetch quests, it's pretty enough that it's interesting. It's fun to do, if that makes sense.
we'll see. And
Yeah.
in Witcher 3, the story you're tracking down Suri. You know, you're like, okay, if she was here, now I'm gonna go here. Now I'm gonna go here. Now I'm gonna go here. But the side quests that they do, they actually affect the world around it, and that's what I like. Is I save somebody, and then I come back later and find out because I saved them, 5 other people died.
And the amount of lore too. I mean, just and this isn't really a spoiler, but some stuff happens after you kill the griffin at this bar or this inn you're staying at, and you kind of see like it really messes with Geralt. Like Geralt's really kind of upset about it, and I can't think of his name right now, but Geralt's trainer,
Vesser or
yeah,
Vizu, something like that.
yeah, Varuser or whatever the hell his name
The
is,
old guy.
the old dude. He's just kind of like, yeah, whatever, fuck it, let's go. Um, but just that, like, you get because all the tension they're creating with like these different countries, these different logos, and I almost feel like just that gives you all this backstory to explore, and then you add the layer of this crazy evil army of wraiths. Plus, not to mention, there's all these like just regular monsters out there you've got to go deal with. It's just
Right.
really, it's got a lot more depth than you would expect from like your standard single player, I think.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
All right. So yeah,
So-
if you're not playing The Witcher, you should be. So far, that's the current first impressions.
So, a couple things I want to ask. Do you feel like it's worth $60?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And so far the game appears to be very, I mean, I'm not doubting this game will be anything less than a 35, 40 hour game, which is great. To me, that says, yes, I'm worth $60. When you pick up a game and you beat a single player game in like 18 hours or anything less than that, well,
No, because I've played single. There's like The Last of Us. I finished The Last of Us in 10 to 12 hours.
yeah, that's, I
And
guess that's being
I
a
would
little
buy it for
unfair.
$60 again and do that.
Now, are you
Yeah.
saying the main story, or are you saying you beat everything in the game?
Yeah, because I think the main
That's
story
true.
will probably. I think the main story will probably take. I bet it'll take 20 hours, but I think that if you're gonna go, like, I think by the time I'm done exploring and tearing through everything, once I finish the game, I, I bet I could put 100 hours into that easily.
Well, they say with all the side quests and not including the expansion pack, which adds an extra like 20 or 30 hours of gameplay, there's 100 hours of gameplay with all the side
Nice.
quests.
It's good.
So the other thing that they did, which I think is cool, and I mean it is just them doing some PR stuff, but they say there's 16 different DLCs that they're giving you for free. And they're small things like, okay, an armor set, or you can change the way your hair and your beard look, you know, things like that. Those are the only 2 that are out right now. But the fact that they're giving these DLCs for free where everyone else is charging for every other DLC known to man, like you want your horse to have this golden hoof, then you need to pay $20 and he'll run 10% faster.
Speaking of that, that's kind of a really good opportunity for me to talk about a game that I've been interested in playing, and I've seen something on it prior and been interested, but now I want to talk about betas that are like making you pay for them.
And I'm excited to talk about this because it's something that's become kind of a trend, with Kickstarter. Then you had Steam Greenlight, and then you started having these games on Steam that they were like a beta, but you would buy them. There was a lot of games like that. We reviewed one. Do you remember playing that game, Lance? That we were both like, this game is not ready for like we both played like 2 or 3 matches, and we're like, this isn't even like serviceable. It's called the Red Solstice.
Oh yeah,
And they've
yes.
done huge content patches, and I've heard it's actually well improved since then. But
Sure.
it was one of those where you would buy it for like $10 or $20, and then you'd have the beta, and then you would just basically be part of the beta testing. So anyway, go on.
Oh no, it's one of those things. It's this business model. It's kind of like, Tom and I were working for GameStop when we first saw our first $60 game, and it was Doom
It
3.
was the Doom 3 Collector's Edition, right? On
Yeah,
Xbox, yeah.
and that was like, and everybody was like, "Oh shit, if you buy this, they're going to realize that they can start charging us more." And
Which
that's
is funny.
exactly what happened.
Which is funny
Oh,
because Super Nintendo games were $70 back in the day.
were they?
Yeah, Super. I remember my parents bought me for Christmas Super Street Fighter 2, and it was like $64.99 or $69.99, and this was in the '90s. So
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't a solid price point. I think the nice thing is some price points are fluctuating. Like,
mhm.
not everybody is taking that to heart and thinking they need to charge $60 for a game, which I appreciate. Like, I mean, we can get a stellar game like Ori and the Blind Forest for $20.
Right.
That's fucking great. Which I would recommend that, Randall, if you want to try something new.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it's on my list.
Um, that goes on sale. I wouldn't be surprised if like in the next 6 months that doesn't appear on gold for free. Oh, you're not a gold guy anymore.
True, but it's because if I find games that are worth getting for free, then I'll find Xbox Live Gold membership on sale somewhere. But as we've discussed before, I don't do enough multiplayer gaming, and they don't have enough free games that are quality enough to make my money worth it to buy it as subscription.
Sure. I mean, Castle Storm I haven't played with. I kind of want to. But yeah, there's this game that they just launched. I have to go find the name really quick. I just forgot. It is Smite, and
Oh,
I'd seen
Smite
some.
looks cool.
Dude, Smite's been free. Smite was free to play on PC forever.
So they're charging for it on Xbox Live. You have to
What?
buy the beta. Yeah, $30 to buy the beta to give you access to the game, and then they give you extra goodies with it. And I'm like, so I'm buying the game, but I'm not buying the game? Like, I don't understand. Like, so I think it looks like it's gonna be a free to play model, but then I would have to buy, if I want to have access to the beta, I've got to buy it for $30. So and I'm trying to think of a couple other titles that I was interested in for the time, but it just makes me mad that these companies are asking for your money before they even have finished product. It's kind of like my experience with we had a guy that was pouring cement for us this week at Brooks' house, and he asked for all this money up front, and it just kind of puts a bad taste in people's mouths when you're like asking for something you haven't delivered on. Um, you know, I can't think of another comparison to make on that, Tom. I remember I wanted to play, is it The Forest on PC? I wanted to play that, but they're asking to buy it up front, and then a couple other ones too. I was interested in Daisy, which I think I ended
Well,
up
and I
buying
think
later.
I think it's different. Like I think if it's like, hey, the game's not ready for launch yet, but if you buy it now, you'll have a copy when it launches, and you can play the beta. I'm okay with that. The Smite thing's a little weird because Smite's been free to play on PC for so long that it's just kind of strange. But maybe that's a way to fund the development. But you'd think
I
they were
doubt
doing,
it,
you think they were doing just fine on the PC because Smite is built very similarly to League of Legends in
but
the
it's
way
more of
that.
a third person view.
Yep, but it plays just like League of Legends. I mean, it's got the mobs coming through, you kill them, then you've got the different focal points you're supposed to take, and then the big guys you fight, and then you have like your super attacks. But with that, there's also costume packs you can buy, additional characters you can buy. You know what I mean? Like they have that same freemium model. So I do find that a little weird that they're developing it for console and they're trying to essentially they're requiring you to buy $30 worth of freemium content and then you can play the beta is what they're doing,
Yeah,
which is weird.
and man, that makes me think about, speaking of that third person view. What do you call it, MOBA? Man, a game I miss a lot? Monday Night Combat. That was so much fun. I
You
know,
played the hell out
Tom.
of that. You played so
I
much Monday Night Combat.
I got it for free when we were like, we did a review for it. What company gave us the review copy for that? I think it was under Big Shiny Robot. And God, that game was so much fun. So I did play the hell out of that game. So,
In
but
my
anyways,
opinion, if you have to pay to play the beta and then you have to pay to buy the actual game when it comes out, that's like me going to a car dealership paying 20, $50 to do a test drive just to decide if I want to buy the car.
yeah, I think the beta's there for two reasons, right? It's to spark interest, and it's basically an excuse to not pay a bunch of developers to,
It's to
test
work out the
to break a
bugs,
game. Yeah,
to
to
have a good
break.
launch.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
why should I pay you for a game that's probably buggy that you're going to need to fix and then pay you for the fixes? Like that
I
makes
mean,
no
hell, I get
sense.
enough problems with Battlefield at launch. Like, why would I pay you pre? I mean, Battlefield doesn't even ask for my money in beta, which is bad enough because that game fucking shits all over. It shits all over its customer base every time they launch one, and they're still not asking for my money up front. So EA, you did one thing right.
No, and I understand if they need like money for development and stuff like that, but from what Tom's saying, that doesn't seem to be the case with Smite. It seems like they're just, and I'd be interested to know if it's free. The beta is free on PS4 because I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft Xbox gamers are getting screwed again.
I mean, maybe I'm not seeing this right. Maybe let me just double check while we're doing this. I'm gonna
Yeah,
go
that would
see if
actually be
maybe.
really funny if you just didn't read correctly, and
No,
everyone's like,
no, no.
"He's an idiot."
Well, on the front page, it's showing it, and then you have to buy it. Like you have to actually purchase it. So my video is not on, but I am still here. Don't worry. Um, so, anyways, what was the other thing we were going to talk about? Oh, we were going to talk about Destiny. Have either of you two, Tom? You said you logged in.
What have I logged into?
Destiny.
I did. I logged in on Sunday. Also, Lance, you completely destroyed the framing by turning off your video, dick.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'm sure. So I logged in on Sunday because talking to Jacob and Paul, they were big on saying, "Oh, man, they had all these pre-events where you could do these world events and get bounties from an emissary, and then go kill these named mobs in the land, and then get uh, basically engrams for House of Wolves by doing that and other things." So I logged in to go, yeah, maybe I'll do this. So I went and got a bunch of quests, and I went down to the Cosmodrome, thinking, hey, I'm gonna go hunt these guys. It'll be fun. And I spent like 15 minutes driving around the Cosmodrome trying to find the spot where this guy was supposed to spawn at some point. And then I remembered that I was just really fucking bored. And so I turned it off. And I haven't gone back since. So I want to. I have House of Wolves. I paid for it. I should use it. I have some stuff from Jacob I wanted to read. He sent me a text about it. And he said, so House of Wolves is really good. And I was like, really? How good? And he said, like, super cool. Like, cool as ice. And I was like, oh, okay, why? And he said that basically the new weapon types there's new weapon types, the story progresses better, there's also better voice acting. So it sounds like he's enjoying it. But then when I asked him about it, like, hey, so you playing after a couple days later, I'm like, hey, so you playing House of Wolves? You like it? He's like, nah, I still realize I'm bored with Destiny.
Well, it
So
seems everyone I talk
Nice.
to at work who's playing Destiny says the same thing that Chuck does. That well, my friends are playing Destiny, so that's why I play Destiny still. And
yep.
it's like they've caught you guys in this trap where because your friends are still playing it, you're not branching out to other games.
Oh, I've been playing plenty of other things. Like I just basically have like every now and again get these texts from my friends that are like, "Will you come raid with us?" And I'm like, "Fuck no, I'm not gonna raid. I'll PvP with people, but that's about it." I'm actually pretty excited for the PvP this weekend. Steve and I and my other buddy are gonna do a 3v3 team, so that part I am excited for. But yeah, I actually went through and started doing some of the quest lines for the Queen. And especially when you have stuff like The Witcher that's launching and they're changing character models into every area you go to and they're switching all this stuff up. And then you got Destiny that is putting out an expansion that I paid for. I paid $35 for two expansions. One of them was pretty good. There was quite a bit there for me to offer, so I can't say that they let me down with the Crota's End. But I can say that this was super fucking irritating. I do a quest, and you go to the level that it's the prison of elders or something like that, where you have to let that elder out at the end, and then you have to fight him. So it's that level, but backwards. And I didn't figure it out till about like a couple minutes, like probably like 10 or 15 minutes into it, because it's Venus, right? So, and you already do two different missions on that exact same level. There's another one that you do that's part of the story, I think. And instead of you going towards where the elder guy is, there's a spot where you can overlook and do a whole bunch of sniping, and you can go onto a ship instead. Well, it's that same fucking level, but you start out at the end of it and move forward. And I was like, man, you just recycled gameplay and slapped a price tag on it, and it just makes me really mad. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that they're adding to it, and I am excited for some of the other stuff, but that did really tick me off. So, is anybody in our Twitch channel, by the way, Tom?
Nope. Nobody
Yay!
there.
Huh?
Nope. Nobody there. If they are, they're not commenting.
Fair enough. I was going to talk about something else too, but I totally spaced it. And I'll probably remember later. So that's everything I got. Do you guys want to add anything or anything else you've been playing that we want to talk about?
No, I think I'm good for tonight.
That's pretty much all I've got. I want to say what I'm looking forward to for the rest of this month, because this is a pretty good month for gaming. So, I mean, you got House of Wolves yesterday, The Witcher 3. Next week, we're getting Magicka 2. That comes out the 26th, which we will all be playing in droves. So I just thought I'd shout that out. Like, I'm pretty sure to see Magicka 2 hitting shelves. And then make sure you're sounding off to us. If you have questions, concerns, you just want to say offensive things to us, feedback at entertainmentisdead.com. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at EID Podcast, Facebook.com/entertainmentisdead. What else?
At Chuck Sweat, at WebheadBot. Is that right,
Yep,
Randall?
that's right.
At Thomas Winkley. You can also, I mean, that's mostly where I'm at is Twitter. So if you want to talk to me, you gotta hit me up on the twits. So, and then did you say our podcast is at EID Podcast? Right.
At EID Podcast, that's correct. Yep.
So just a reminder to everybody who's watching the show, we've got a couple things coming up. Specifically, the end of the month, we're going to be doing a live broadcast from. Well, it might not be live; it might be recorded, but we're going to do a recorded podcast with some of our friends who do cosplay. It's going to be at GameWorks. It's downtown in Salt Lake. Feel free to stop by. It's on the 30th at 5 o'clock. Feel free to come in, have a drink, play some games, maybe talk to some of the cosplayers. Specifically, we're getting cosplayers that do video game cosplay. So one of my friends, Erin, she does cosplays for Katana, Borderlands cosplays. I can't remember the character because I don't play enough Borderlands. She's got a couple different Catwoman outfits, and I'm specifically going to have to see if we can theme it up with the new Batman release. So try to get some Batman characters out there. So sorry, you're probably working, Randy, and
I am.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, but anyway, so that's current. That's what's coming up. Feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions about it. So.
Yep, we'll go hang out at GameWorks, have some beverages, play some games.
So the excitement, I'm sure you guys were just as excited as we were to record this podcast. So yes, and with that, my excitement is going back into my asshole, and I'm going to bed.
Okay, good night.
Dun, dun, dun.